Hey, what's going on, guys? Look, before we dive into this video, I just wanted to reach out and say thank you to everybody that watched my first video, everybody that commented, just all the support. It's wild. I cannot thank you enough. I can't believe that many people wanted to watch that. So, appreciate all the support. It's a very scary thing going off on your own and trying to invest in your own future. We're going to do it, though. You guys are a huge part of that, so thank you very much. Now, without further ado, I guess it's about time we get into how some of that investment's going down. Your boy finally got a shop. Let's check it out. So yeah, this is the new shop. Obviously, you know, it's not huge, relatively small, because you know what, money doesn't go very far in California. You guys probably already know that. But we're here, finally made it, finally got our own spot so we can continue working on, well, my piles of shit here, really build stuff the way we want to. So now we can actually have a space that, you know, I can build out to the way Jesus Christ. I'm next to some friends, as you can probably hear. Bro, yo, what are you hammering?
I gotta get this floor fit up, guy.
Oh, hey.
Got all drilled out, cut out.
Sick. We just heard all the hammering, so I figured I'd just come and let the people know that we're right next door to the boys. What up, Grimace? Ooh. And we got a Suppy. Everybody's doing channels now, but you know what? We're on the same fucking spot. Let's go, baby. Okay, you guys get back to work. So here's what we're gonna do. We got the shop. Now we got to figure out how we can lay it out so I can get a lift in here, get the workbenches, you know, all the stuff that I'll need. And we're going to do the floors too, because this ain't going to cut it. Luckily, I got some friends over at Ghost Shield, and I think they're going to help us out and get us something looking real spicy in here. You look like classy bros. Yep. What do you think we should go with? Personally, I'm more of like low-key kind of guy, right?
I kind of like the best of both worlds right here.
Yeah, middle guy?
I like the first one.
You don't like that mega thick drip, huh?
The mega marble.
You know that looks like the underside of the desk on one of you guys' computers.
Yeah, I think that's your guy right there.
Low-key.
Subtle, yeah.
All right, so we know this one's a little bit too much. Let's get in the axe, so let's get in the dumpster. But before we do, we're gonna have to probably repaint these walls because they don't look so bad on camera, but they're a little, they don't look so bad on camera, but they need to be repainted. So we gotta do that before we do the floors. Also, before we do the floors, if we're gonna put a 2-post Bendpak in here, gotta figure out where that's gonna go and gotta get it drilled into the floor beforehand, and then they're gonna basically seal and do the epoxy around it. So finally got my own spot where I can build everything that I want, or at least I can. And have a spot to work on my cars and store some shit in LA because I live in a condo. And I did get technically, well, that I can no longer park in my building because people complained. Whatever. You know, obviously, I got all my cars here, and if you guys are unfamiliar with them, I can go over them really quick. Let's just do that. So this, 2010 Corvette Grand Sport. This is basically like, you know, daily driver. Pretty simple, nothing crazy on it. It's got these Rotiform LVS 3-piece that were custom made for it, and they're pretty sick. Obviously, it's a 6-speed car. And then under the hood, basically, really simple setup. Texas Speed, BFD, Chop Monster, LS3 cam, of course. And a set of PRC 260cc heads. It's got really nice lifters from Gatorman. They're like link bar style. It's got really nice push rods. It's got CHE trunnion upgrade for the rockers. And of course, 660 valve springs, titanium retainers. You know, just pretty basic stuff that, you know, you're gonna do when you do like a cam swap. Tuned by the Dune Hoon down in San Diego. And exhaust, which tends to piss a lot of the neighbors off as well, is a Texas Speed 1 7/8 long tubes going into a Texas Speed 3-inch X-pipe, going into a 3-inch Borla Attack catback. It's pretty loud. Now, this is old WAYLON here. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with that, if you haven't caught up with it, did a whole build series on Hoonigan's Project Garage channel on this truck. It started life as a 1997 Chevy Tahoe, 2-door of course, and it's 4-wheel drive. what we did was we got a full Texas speed built Ford Godzilla motor. Yeah, I know, I put a Ford in a Chevy. Ford's rotating assembly. It's got a Texas speed stage 2 turbo cam, Manton push rods, nice lifters. I don't know the lifters on this. It's got pack valve springs, ported heads by Texas Speed as well. And then it's topped with this Texas Speed intake manifold with a TIC Performance intercooler, fuel injector clinic fuel injectors, obviously Holley fuel rail. I'll get into all that stuff in a bit, but obviously it's force fed by a gigantic Garrett G47 turbo, obviously Garrett GV W50 wastegates. This thing eats. It likes to party. It's running off a Holley Dominator. The whole wiring harness is Holley. Basically, every single sensor on here, for the most part, is Holley. The oiling system and the whole front plate kit here was done by Indy Power Products. Really rad stuff there. CSF and PWR made this cooler array. So there's just a big ass radiator with some big old fans in it, because this thing has to stay cool. Obviously, it's making some pretty good power. Before we moved that, when it was still over there, it was bleeding off boost. It still did 1,058 at the tire at only making like 10 pounds of boost. And it was only making that 10 pounds for like 5,000 to 7,000 RPM. That's it. Now, it makes boost at 1,700 RPM, and we had it up at 18.5. It was scary. There's a ton of vibrant parts on here, a ton of stuff from Radium, a lot of cool fittings, and the fuel cell as well. The transmission is a Gearstar 4L85E 4x4 transmission, backed with basically a stock style Chevy transfer case, but they work. And then driveshaft, pro driveshafts. For fueling, we got this big ass Radium fuel cell. I mean, it's 22 gallons. Yeah, this thing likes to drink. I got 4 Walbro 550s in here. Then we got the Mishimoto ice tank for the intercooler, and got an anti-gravity battery. Underneath, it's got all sorts of really badass stuff. So we've got QA1 suspension, front and rear. We got coilovers in the rear, just shocks up front. We're still running torsion bars. It's a full Curry Fab 9-inch housing with 410 gears and a Detroit True Track. Little Shop Manufacturing made these gigantic 16-inch brakes. They're 6-pot, and they're 16 inches all around. Now that's kind of, you know, dumb for a drag car, but I wanted this, you know, to be roadworthy. These wheels didn't really turn out the way I wanted to from the factory. They were like polished and concave, and that really wasn't supposed to be the look. So luckily, buddy Cord over at Fusion Finish took and coated them, and they look a hell of a lot better. They look way more decent now than they did, but I think I'm gonna change those eventually because, you know, just don't really look that good. Also, when it comes to coating up here, all this is Cerakoted. This was by Rockstar Coatings, so all of this and the housing and some of the suspension parts were all Cerakoted by Rockstar. The blow-off valve is Turbo Smart, and then the oil pressure regulator slash filters, Turbo Smart. There's a lot on it. It was eaten. I did break some stuff. We'll get into that later. But let's get into this thing now. This is my 1978 K5 Blazer. If you guys saw this, there's another build series on this on Hoonigan Project Garage. I actually have an entire playlist on WAYLON, the K5, and Boomhauer, my old 74 C10 that I built years ago. So if you want to check that out, I actually have the playlist saved on this channel. So yeah, I found this out here by Irwindale, and a guy just had it sitting in his shed. It honestly didn't have that many miles on it, and it basically lived its life outside in San Bernardino, hence the sick patina that was just caused by the sun. But what I did with it is Smeding Performance built me this really nasty 572-inch big block that's basically just meant for street duty, right? When I say nasty, it could be way nastier, right? It parties. It makes way too much power for this thing, but it's actually like super reliable. I've put like 7,000 miles on this thing, and just I have no issues with it. I can fire it up and drive it any day I want. It just likes to drink a lot of gas. So I'll give you the breakdown on this. So this is built by a guy named Jacob Villeman, is That Engine Guy on Instagram and YouTube. So it is a Dart block, It's got a Smetting Performance forged rotating assembly. It's got topped off with AFR heads. I believe they're 355. Comp roller rockers, you know, nice push rods, nice lifters. It's got a pretty small Vic Jr. intake manifold because at the time, we were running this Holly Sniper up there, and that was the biggest one they made. But now they make way bigger ones. So they make like a 4500 flange version. This is just the Sniper X-Flow. So, you know, there's some power left on the table, okay? It's a little choked out. But here's the thing. This thing made 733 horsepower and 733 foot-pounds of torque with a just absolutely monstrous flat torque curve. It never made less than 650 foot-pounds in the curve, which is awesome. So it eats, it likes to party, it drinks a lot of gas, but it moves. Now, the front runner on this is really sick. This is from Vintage Air. So the front runner kit, all this billet, all the parts came from Vintage Air. And of course, it's got AC. Yes, we don't have anything without AC. And this fan setup is also from Vintage Air. This thing's super sick because that fan just operates on its own. It's pulse width modulated. This thing has never gotten over 100 and I believe like 94 degrees. Like, and I'll be doing burnouts with it for like 3 straight minutes. I'm not kidding. I have beat the shit out of this thing. It takes all of it. No problems, no questions asked. You fire it up, it wants to party. It's nice. And then, so the transmission in this thing, it's another Gearstar 4L85E, and it has been perfect the entire time. Never had an issue with it whatsoever. It takes a beating. It's got a yank converter, it's got a Mazir billet flex plate, got an NP205 transfer case because, you know, when I lock it in to do 4-wheel drive donuts. You know, I wanted something kind of beefy. I think it's unnecessary really for this thing, but you know, it works. And then for wheels, we got these KMC 444 bead locks and wrapped in 35-inch Toyo Open Country MTs. Got the mud terrains on there. For axles, it's honestly up front, we got RCVs with a Detroit True Track and 456 gears, and then a stock 12 bolt, which I have no idea how it's still survived this long, with 456 gears and a Detroit True Track. Curry Enterprises, the boys over there, put it together for me because I didn't want to f it up. They did a hell of a job. It is not exploded. I don't know how. I have no idea how it lasted. Now, I just got the interior done. Still waiting on like some plates for the dash, but I want to show you this because I'm pretty stoked on how this turned out. Because this used to look like absolute garbage in here. And New Line Interiors did the whole thing in this super sick houndstooth. Yeah, it just looks really good. And like I said, I drive this, you know, so there's stuff in it, you know. It's a great truck. You can look up any of this stuff online. There's plenty of videos on them. So now that we got that over with, let's get some of this stuff out of here. Let's do some measuring. Okay, so now we got all the measurements. Let's go put them in the computer and let's make a blueprint of this. Okay, and there you have it. So I've basically made a rough layout of how everything looks. We're gonna put the lift right about here. This is like big enough for like a full-size truck, well, shorter truck. This is about the size of the Jimmy. And then so we got enough room for some tables back here, my big Boxo box, and then another table back here. And that'll give us plenty of room to work and all that stuff. And then we can fit another car there for storage. But yeah, this will evolve as we go, but this is a good baseline to figure out where we need to do everything, so sick. Got this space completely empty now. We can kind of visualize what we want to do. One thing to keep in consideration is like, got to shoot cars in here, and we got to work on cars in here, right? So there needs to be space to like be able to work around stuff. It can't be super cramped. It's gonna look like shit. That was the worst part about a lot of stuff when, you know, trying to shoot at Hoonigan, like where it would be so slammed into a corner or like junk all around it, or, you know, it just didn't look good on camera. And so, you know, we want to be able to like capture everything we want. That has to be taken into consideration. Originally, I thought it would be cool to have a 4-post lift here and like a 2-post lift like that, but like the space just does not work for it. It's just too damn small, especially when you see a truck inside of here. So I think the move is we're gonna put a lift right here, and it's gonna be caddy corner, as you saw me draw it out. And that way it gives us plenty of space to work that way, and then we can park a car here and still have some tables. Shit, you can see they clearly didn't clean this place too, but like there's something here, like cabinetry or whatever. So somebody else had it kind of set up like this. You can see where there used to be a lift here too. We'll have some benches right here, probably right here to there. And then that way we can have all that space to like back like a truck or something kind of long all the way back so we can actually get it in. I would put stuff over here, but I'm worried that like if you got a long vehicle and you're trying to turn it like so to back it into there, that ain't gonna work out. So got to leave it a little open. And this corner here has to kind of be reserved for an air compressor. Looks like I'm gonna have to run some 220 because there's bullshit electrical in here. Probably put something right there. That's about all we can do. The floors, I think, are gonna be a huge upgrade. Now, I have one day that I am in town this coming week because we gotta do a bunch of stuff. Me and Vinny are going out to Havasu to go shoot some sick-ass boat shit with Mercury Racing and DCB. That'll be cool. That'll come out a little later. Then we gotta go down to the San Felipe 250 because, well, you'll see. Anyway, coming soon. That one day. Hopefully we can get that in and installed in between those two chutes. But there you go. This is what you can do with 1,200 square feet, something like that. Let's hope it works. Let's hope it works. I should probably do a burnout or something. I'm gonna go do a burnout.